Nina Turner, you were on CNN this morning, were you not?
I was.
You were, and you talked about sort of the different factions in this infrastructure fight, and you talked about Bernie Sanders and his pressure that he put on Joe Manchin. Now, I and many others have been just desperately calling on anyone in a position of power to actually pressure Manchin and Sinema and the others, and so Bernie finally did it. What did CNN think about that? Were they in favor of that?
It was it was a great discussion this morning. I must admit, and shortly after me, two Congress people were on. It was Congresswoman Bush and a Congresswoman Bowman, and like different segments. Did not know they were gonna have on so many progressives this morning. It was a really robust conversation, and what I laid out, because Paul Begala was the other person on there, and the one thing that he and I did agree on is that the Democrats must do something. So that's a start. We did agree on that. I argued that $3.5 trillion investment is already the compromise position. He argued that something must be done, and that the 3.5 combined with some other monies will make this the biggest investment since Reagan, I believe he said. The point of the matter is this: we cannot. I don't understand why we're compromising on the compromise on the compromise on the compromise. My major point is that 6.6 trillion was the starting number. Some progressives, John, as you remember, wanted 10. So we go from people throwing out 10 to okay, it's going to be 6. Now to 3.5, and now you have corporatists, more moderate Democrats, even trying to negotiate down from there. Let us not forget that both caucuses in both chambers, the caucuses in both chambers, being the Democratic caucuses, agree. Everybody agrees except for 2 senators. The people in this country agree, no matter what their political ideologies are. They say they rocking with the Build Back Better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Well, John, my question is, maybe you can help me with this. If the president wants it, if the caucuses in the Congress want it, if the American people say we rocking with you, then what could be the problem?
Yeah. Well, there are several problems, but one that I think we should focus on is that unless you've been holding out on me, I suspect that you probably don't own a coal company. Do you own a coal company?
No, I do.
Well, then if you don't own a coal company, then how could you understand the concerns of coal barons? But really, like,
that's what it is. Thank you.
I'm not a serious person. I'm not a responsible person. That's why no one respects me. I've never held elected office. You're a serious person. That's why we have you on. So I can say crazy things like, if it's about $150 billion to incentivize power plants to not use coal, and a senator says no to it, the country doesn't get to have that, and he owns a coal company. I can't think past, okay, Biden sits down with him, says, here's the thing, you're part of our party, you are going to sell your coal company, you're gonna divest yourself entirely from fossil fuels, or we're gonna boot you from the goddamn party. Because that is the most obvious corruption. Like, layered on top of it is the frosting of the fact that he's gotten $400,000 from fossil fuel companies in the last quarter alone. That's the sort of normal corruption that we've just sort of normalized, and we just totally allow it. He owns a coal company and he's deciding whether we'll keep using coal or not. Boot him out of the party. How can it be allowed? It is so offensively corrupt. And nobody really talks about it except a couple of progressives. That's it. The news barely cares that exists. I mean, how could you possibly imply that he would do something that would hurt a company that has gained him $5 million in the past few years? It's madness, Nina.
It is, and his family, and as I said on New Day this morning, and like I said, very good conversation with Brianna. He is set for the rest of his natural life. His children are set for the rest of their natural lives, and so on and so forth. So why would he care about West Virginia, one of the poorest states in the nation, I add, about people in communities there suffering and their children not being set? Why does he care? He doesn't care about the implosion of Mother Earth. He just doesn't. And so, John, your point is well taken. Why do we put up with this? The rules need to change. In order for the rules to change, you got to elect people who are willing to change the rules. One of the other things that Paul said in our robust conversation this morning is that Senator Manchin is the only Democrat that could get elected in West Virginia. Well, you know why? Because he ain't really a Democrat. Let's just go and tell that kind of truth. because President Biden should move the West Wing to West Virginia and let Senator Joe Manchin know he's tired of playing games. He'd have met with the man. I mean, how many more conversations? Senator Sanders and him just had a conversation. Thank God Senator Sanders smoked them out. And you're absolutely right. Those other senators, the 48 others, because we got another one we need to bring out here, and that's Senator Sinema. Again, West Wing and West Virginia, and let Senator Sinema know I'll be in Arizona directly. Like I'm coming to a town near you right away. But no, they're not doing that because too many of their friends and frenemies are entangled in the same owner-donor situation. And so yet again, the American people lose or have to take crumbs from the table. They just increased, the Senate just voted in the defense bill, the spending bill, to give the Pentagon $10 billion more than what they asked for, John.
Yeah,
I mean, we just riddle me this. Please, I need somebody to help us understand this.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set up a segment of the Department of Defense, which is defense against the apocalyptic danger of climate change. And then we'll put all that money into the defense budget and suddenly it'll be totally cool. Let's just do that then. My God, like we will spend $1 trillion a year to stop like a dude in Chile from shooting you. But like Miami being swept out to the middle of the Atlantic, isn't really a priority. Is that really something we need to defend against? We're the dumbest country.
And West Virginia, I mean, they're dealing with flooding too, John.
Yeah.
And West Virginia.
We talked about on the show yesterday. Yeah.
So it's really gonna take the American people to rise up and say enough is enough. And that, in the words of Fannie Lou Hamer, we sick and tired of being sick and tired. We just gotta stop taking this and stop normalizing this foolishness.
100%.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.